Welcome back to At Home with Miss Joan for our final look at Scotland. In previous videos, we've talked about the capital city of Edinburgh. We've talked about some of the islands, Isle of Skye, Mull, Iona, along with Loch Ness, Inverary Castle. And in this video, we're going to talk about the time I spent with Edinburgh Black Cabs going to Balmoral Castle. When you're researching Scotland, you will find that Balmoral Castle is hard to get to unless you are renting a car. I didn't personally want to rent a car, and I knew that I needed a tour that could get me from Edinburgh over to Balmoral. And if you look at the distance on the map, there's distance there that it's not super easy to get there. So you have to want to go to Balmoral. So I chose a group called Edinburgh Black Cabs to take me there. They were fantastic to work with. Emailed with a woman named Charlotte. She was so quick to respond to me as we kind of built the itinerary that I would have. And then we were personally picked up at the airport by Steve. Steve was a wonderful guide. I recommend Steve from Edinburgh Black Cabs. He was our tour guide and he took us to the town of Ballater. We spent the night there at what ended up actually being my favorite stay of all of my stays in Scotland. It was the number 45 Guesthouse. So if you are in the little town of Ballater, stay at number 45 Guesthouse. It is the cutest little guest house. It's what you think about with Scotland, with like the stags on the wall, the carpeting, everything about it screams Scotland. The hosts are so kind. They are made for working at a B&B. Their breakfast that they serve you is magical. There are no words for how good that breakfast is there. Recommend the number 45 guest house. In the town of Ballater, we walked around. It's a cute little town. We ate at a spot. The Balmoral just got the steak, pie, and chips. It was great. This is the town of Ballater, and we're staying here for one night at the number 45 guest house. And this town is very close to Balmoral Castle, and that's where we're headed tomorrow. Balmoral. Oh my goodness, it lived up to my expectations. Now, you are not going to see all the rooms of Balmoral because Balmoral is not like this residence that belongs to the monarchy. Balmoral belongs to that family. That's why they love it so much. And I see why they loved it just from the countryside that you get to see around it. Oh my goodness, you see the magnificence of Balmoral, but you only go into one room. You only go into the ballroom. That's it. And so if you're expecting to get to see a ton of rooms of Balmoral, you're not going to see that. Now, you can pay a whole lot of money and get to see some more rooms, but I wasn't going to spend that much money to see a few more rooms. I truly loved what I saw, which was the gardens. On the side of Balmoral Castle, you have the gardens. And these are the gardens where Philip actually proposed to Elizabeth. We got to see just the landscape around it. We got to walk down and the River Dee is running right through the property and it is beautiful. Just can get this feel that the late Queen, I'm sure, walked through that area so much. I'm sure you can see her with her little dogs just walking through that area, getting that breath of fresh air. I loved just walking through that rocky area. Look at this river view that they have here at Balmoral. It's gorgeous. If the Queen was here, this would be manned by police 24 hours a day. But the Queen's not here, King's not here, no one's here. So I guess I'm the one manning the booth right now. We're really safe. When we first got there, once again, Edinburgh Black Cabs is great. They knew what time to get us there. We kind of beat the rest of the tourists. And so you're not going to see a lot of other people in my pictures because they knew when to get us there kind of right before the tourists descended upon Balmoral. Look at this gorgeous clock tower. Now this makes you think of Balmoral. If you see some scaffolding, I've heard there's some work going on at Balmoral, so we'll see some scaffolding in some of the pictures and videos. You'll spend probably, I did about an hour and a half there, maybe 2 hours, depending on what time you get there with the crowds. Balmoral is on a 50,000 acre private estate, and you're located right there within the Cairngorms National Park. It was Queen Elizabeth II's home for several months of the year. We know it's where she passed away in September of 2022. It was actually Queen Victoria and Prince Albert who purchased the Balmoral estate in 1848. Victoria especially felt a strong connection to it. She spent a lot of time there when she was mourning the death of Prince Albert, which we know was like an untimely death. He died very young. Ever since, each British monarch has enjoyed retreating to this property. When you first arrive, you will see the stables and the gift shop area. And it looks so much like the back of Balmoral. You'll think, is that Balmoral? Is it smaller than I thought? Nope, you're not there yet. You're at the stables area and the gift shop. You keep on walking past the little restaurant. Keep walking, you'll see like a little clock tower, and now you are at actually Balmoral. Right across from Balmoral is Crathy Kirk. This is the church that the royals will attend when they're staying at Balmoral. We're here at Crathy Kirk. This is the church that the Queen would go to when she was at Balmoral. And the doors are locked, so I can't go in, but we're excited to see where the Queen went to church. This was actually the church that Princess Anne was married in, literally right across from Balmoral. And it was a really interesting stop. When I was planning this itinerary with my friend Pam, I said, okay, what do you want to see in Scotland? And I thought she was going to list stuff like Balmoral Castle, all of these things she wanted to see. Nope, she wanted to see Highland Coos. And so I made sure that when I talked to Charlotte from Edinburgh Black Cabs, that I said, hey, while you're showing us Balmoral Castle, while we are on this trip with your tour guide, I didn't know at the time who it was. It ended up being Steve. Can we go see some Highland Coos? And he made it happen. And so he made her day, maybe even made her week or her life, I'm not sure. She was so excited. I've never seen someone so excited over a cow.
I came thousands of miles just to see you. You don't even realize that. Okay, now, not the rain. Hi. Oh.
When in Scotland, you've got to stay in a castle, right? And so we're staying for one night at Menstrie Castle. Follow me and I'll show you where we're staying. We're in the Baronet apartment. You'll find information about it online, and it was easy to book, although they do book up quite far in advance. So you want to know that you want to stay there and get your booking in. It's really cute. They actually have the dungeon of the castle is where you can do your laundry. So I thought that was a cute little touch. And then I believe there are 3 different apartments you can stay in. We stayed in the Baronet apartment, which is a 1-bedroom little apartment, and it was cute, comfortable. You're staying in a castle. What I appreciate about Edinburgh Black Cabs is that Steve immediately started asking us about our interests, and I could tell he kind of crafted the itinerary for our 2 days with him based on what we said to him, because he stopped us at something I didn't even really know about. He stopped us at Scone Palace, which is actually really interesting. It is where every Scottish monarch was crowned here. And so at a time when Scotland had their own kings, so this is where Macbeth, this is where Robert the Bruce, all of these iconic people that you've heard about from Scotland history was crowned right here at this abbey that's on site. There's a spot where you can try to pull, just for fun, the sword out of the stone. You can walk around, of course, not make pictures inside. That's the theme of a lot of places, is make your pictures on the outside, but you're not making them inside. Another stop that he had made for us, because he learned that we liked things about the royal family, was in the town of Braemar. Braemar, you may have heard of their Highland Games. You may have heard of the Highland Games that's so popular in Scotland. The most famous of those games is the Braemar Gathering. And these are the games that the royal family will attend. And so he pointed out the box, that's the box for the royal family to watch the games. And so I think you can tell that I highly recommend the Edinburgh Black Cabs. And it kind of blew my mind that I didn't pay any kind of deposit ahead of time. Like, they literally just took my word for it that I was coming to Scotland, and I gave them my flight number, and he was there picking us up at the airport. Let me tell you, after a long international flight, it really is nice when you see somebody holding your name on a sign and they're going to take you to your location. It's nice to not have to figure out, okay, where's the taxi stand? I'm tired, or the tram. How am I going to get into town? It was really nice just to see your name on a sign and head off on your journey. So many people were asking us, have you seen Jamie in Scotland? I don't watch Outlander. I don't. It's not my show. Downton Abbey, The Crown. Now those two are my shows right there. But yet that was the comment I was getting on Facebook when I was posting my pictures. Everybody was saying, have you seen Jamie? And so we told Steve that we needed to see Jamie when we were here. And he had a funny little response.
We need to find Jamie from Outlander.
You found them. It's me. Just not as much curly hair and a little bit chubbier.
Anytime I've done a trip here on YouTube, I usually tell you my top 3. Let me tell you, this is hard. This is hard to pick my top 3 experiences in Scotland, but I'm gonna try. At number 3, I would put the castle at Inverary. Just because I'm a Downton Abbey fan and I knew that it was filmed there, and that castle has such a unique exterior and interior that was a number 3 for me. I loved it. At 2, I would put the Isle of Skye and Glencoe. Those are beautiful locations. If you're just wanting that scenery that you think of as Scotland, you gotta see Isle of Skye and you've gotta see Glencoe. And then at number 1, I would put going to Balmoral. For me, when I think about the late Queen, I think about Balmoral because she loved it so much. I wanted to see that. And even though you only see one room in the castle, for me, it was worth it to be on that property, seeing that river that runs through it, her gardens, all of these things. For me, that took the number 1 spot. And this was a hard listing to make because let me tell you, I loved the royal yacht that you can see in the capital city. Loved the Palace of Holyrood House. I loved so much. There's so many great things about my time in Scotland, but that's my top 3. Let's talk about some tips for planning your trip to Scotland. Some things that I found that you need to think about. All right, Scotland is, I found some parts to be cashless and some parts to really want cash. So I would have both if I was going. The way we worked it was Pam was the card girl and I was the cash girl. So that worked for us because I found that some of those little B&Bs that you might stay in, they want cash. There was even a big store that I went in and the employee was shocked when I handed over cash and he went, oh, cash is king. Like he said that really fast. He was expecting me to hand over a card and he got really excited when I handed over cash instead. And so there are some places that really appreciate you using their money, using cash. But then yes, there were some things that were card only. So have both, I believe, when you're in Scotland. Next thing is about packing. Pack layers. We were there end of May, beginning of June, and for me, having a short sleeve shirt on, having my rain jacket I could throw on, and then I just had like in my purse, I had rolled up like a thin long sleeve. If I ever got cold, I could put that on. I put it on one time. I put it on that day we were in Iona. If you watched that video, you know that Iona and I are not friends. That was cold, okay? I had to put on that long sleeve that day. Now, my friend Pam is different. She's a little more cold-natured than me. She typically wore a long sleeve every day, like a thin long sleeve. She would wear that and then put her rain jacket on over that. That would have burned me up every day. I'm more hot-natured. And so, know yourself, okay? And then just pack layers. Pack some layers that you can, as soon as it stops raining, it can be kind of muggy feeling in the eye. You want to rip that jacket off. Speaking of that rain jacket, you need to like how you look in your rain jacket because I really worried about packing my cute little tops. And in my 500 pictures from Scotland, I might be seen in my top about 3 times, okay? You are wearing your rain jacket all the time. Even when it's not raining, you still have it on because you know that in 4 seconds it's gonna start raining again. And so you just leave it on. And so you need to like how you look in your rain jacket. Because you are gonna be seen in that jacket in all of your pictures. You better like it. It better be your color, girls. You better pick the one that is your color because that's what you're gonna be seen in. Believe it or not, there are a lot of companies that do Black Friday sales. And you may think, Black Friday, that's an American thing. It is, but they have so many American clients that they will run some Black Friday sales. So if you know what you want to do in Scotland ahead of time, you can snag some Black Friday sales. That's what I did. The Rabbies tour that I talked about in the last video, you look up the 5-day tour that I took with Rabbies to Mull on a Skye. You look it up right now, I didn't pay that amount. I booked it during Black Friday. They ran a great Black Friday sale, got it for cheaper, okay? Some places do that. So if you can know your itinerary that far in advance, you can find you some sales to help with the prices of things. I recommend joining Facebook groups. There are so many groups about the country that you might want to go to. There's several about Scotland, and just search in those groups and you'll have people who's giving you their itineraries. They're giving you their advice of where to eat, what to see, what pairs well together, go here while you're going to be here because this is close by. And that kind of information is just super helpful. And so use those Facebook groups to get some ideas, but also know yourself and what you like. Because once again, so many of those things will say, oh, don't go to Balmoral, it's not worth it. Balmoral was a #1 to me. Like it was worth it. I mean, those kind of groups, sometimes those groups said, don't go into Outlander Castle, it's not worth it. I found it to be worth it. I loved walking through that castle. And so know yourself and what you like to see, what your group likes to see, and put that into your itinerary. Build your itinerary based on your interests, what your group likes, and you're gonna enjoy your time because Scotland is for everybody, and I think you'll love it. I don't know how to pronounce this, Iron Brew, and it's supposed to be like a Scottish soft drink. And I have thoughts about something that's orange. I feel like it's gonna have that orange taste, but I've heard that it doesn't. So let's see what I think about this. Oh, it's awful. No, keep going. Oh, it's terrible. It's really terrible. I don't know what to compare it to. I can edit out anything. Okay, I do not recommend Iron Brew. I recommend haggis. I recommend sticky toffee pudding. All the other Scottish things we've tried. Woo! I do not recommend this. And so we went to the... sorry. I always want to say Scone Palace because it looks like the word scone, but it's Scone. You want to go to the Scone. Okay, trying again. At number 3, I'm gonna put the castle. At number 3, I'm gonna put the castle why can I not say that castle name? Here we go again. At number 3, a tour group called Rabbies. I keep saying that, it's Rabbies.
At home with Miss Joan, would you like? You know, whether you like it or not, okay? At home with Miss Joan, please subscribe. Sure does help this old girl's channel grow. Won't you share with friends and family? You know, like your mom and them, okay? Comment right here and you'll hear back from me. You know, preacher, get back with you, my daughter, me, somebody will right here from